All right. Hope everybody's settled in. We're going to jump right into it. It is the weekly update. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you all had a great weekend, a great holiday season. I certainly did. We've got some team members still on vacation, so we'll talk about when we get back into things in full swing. Excuse me. One of the things we're going to be working on right away is we're going to get the coffee stuff going. Excuse me, this is why I get a drink. Clear my throat, excuse me. So this is why we're gonna get things into full swing with the coffee. I mentioned before when we took over the project, guys, that we were gonna do a Shopify store and offer some merchandise, stuff like that. That's actually coming with the coffee, by the way. It kind of works out really well. Drop shipping stuff.
My speakers work. Sorry, Rick.
Yes.
I'm
No, you're good. You're good. So yeah, we're gonna launch a Shopify store that has the merch that we were actually planning on doing before. It's going to coincide with the coffee. Everything's pretty much dialed in for the coffee. We just got to get our Shopify store set up. Obviously, the website updated, and we're working on that right now. So we should have that very soon. We're hoping to have the coffee live, the Kofifi live, sometime next week, and then we'll get you guys an update related to the Poo Chain. Once we get our dev back and the rest of the team back, we'll be able to knock out the Poo Chain stuff pretty quick because they've already been kind of working on it. So I don't want to give you an exact time frame, but that's what's going on. We got that little extra special little thing related to Poo Chain. But to give you guys an updated about the Poo Chain stuff, what it means is we are actually going to branch out into a third network. So in case you guys don't know this, we'll have 3 chains, 1 supply operating on the Poo Chain. It's a meme blockchain, but they're doing some cool stuff. It's a bunch of, crazy degens that have built this pretty neat little blockchain. And it is Polygon Edge proof of stake. Their validators are already pretty sizable, so it's pretty secure. We mentioned that in the past. There's really nothing to worry about as far as downtime or security, as far as we know, as far as we can tell. And we're excited for that one. So we'll have a bridge from the Polygon, from the central base of Polygon. You'll be able to move tokens from the Polygon network into Poo Chain, as well as BSC. Now, BSC will only be able to move into Polygon. Poo Chain will only be able to move into Polygon. It kind of sucks that we're in a way, some people are going to be like, oh, why not just have it free flowing? Yeah, but things can get a little complicated with the bridging, and we don't want to have any issues with that. So we're going to have a central hub being Polygon. But it still is 1 supply, multiple networks. So pay attention to that. We'll have that sometime for you, maybe next week or the following week after. But we'll try to get this coffee stuff launched next week. Maybe even in a few days. Maybe before the weekend. I don't know. We're going to work on it as soon as we're done here. So, staking. You guys are checking out our staking. Many of you are taking advantage of it on our website on the Polygon side. And I should check it out, see what the APRs are right now. Whoa, my screen is, there we go. Massive. I zoomed in. I can't remember why. Sounds weird. But yeah, we've got staking live on the Polygon network. Staking currently sitting at 13.3% APR. There are 324 million tokens staked. A third of our circulating supply on Polygon. That's pretty awesome. We're still maintaining the 13.3. That's going to last for a while, guys, so enjoy that. Chris and Joe had mentioned in the past, one of the little tricks you can do is before you get into the staking, make sure that you claim your rewards before you jump in. And then let's say you wait a couple weeks, you've earned your new tokens. There's been some action over time. You can actually, the tokens in the staking contract are earning as a pooled amount. So right now, the staking contract is actually getting a third of all rewards on the circulating supply. That's how it works. So what's really neat is you can actually pull your tokens out, unstake, claim your tokens, claim the rewards that are attached to them, and then restake them. So you can still gain rewards. You can still gain, and still get the contract itself. I do not know if the contract itself will actually get reflections. I wonder if it does. That's interesting. I think it does. I'll have to find out. Joe, do you know offhand?
Yes, the contract gets reflections.
It's fantastic. So you guys are, in essence, getting your percentage of that 32.46% in reflections. That's really neat. So again, make sure you claim your rewards before you jump in there, and then stake your tokens, do whatever you're going to do, and you will get reflections from that percentage. It's all ratios, right? It's all percentage of ownership, just so you guys are aware. So I know it can be frustrating not knowing, like some people asked in the past, like, how come you guys can't give us the exact calculation? Because there is no exact calculation. It's ever changing. That number might fluctuate 10% by the end of the day. It might fluctuate 50% by the end of the day. So I can only tell you what it would be in the moment based on rough calculations of estimates based on ratios. And right now, 32.46% of the circulating supply is in this staking contract. So whatever your chunk of that is, let's say you've got 3.24 million, you're getting 1% of the 30%, which is still better than what you would be getting. It works out to the same numbers basically. But when it comes to the rewards, if you happen to pull your tokens out before somebody else, it just depends on which tokens you get. You might actually get more rewards from that pool than somebody else might. So it's a race to the finish, guys. That's how the staking contract works related to our rewards. So going back to the coffee, it is going to be a Shopify store on our website. So if you haven't made a Shopify account, I think you do need to go make one. You'll get your shipping address and all that stuff. It's all handled by the merchant account. We don't see any of your information. So you'll be able to actually, I think we've got like bean bags, shirts, backpacks, pens, mugs, all sorts of stuff. We'll have the original merch that we've been talking about from the beginning, as well as the coffee, which is really exciting. So Steph worked really hard on that a long time ago. And yeah, we can get that kicked off and it's going to look great. Now, people are going to ask, how does that help the project? I'm glad you asked. A percentage of the profits from our merch and coffee will go into open market on-chain buys of the Strat token. And we're going to put together some sort of contract where we can stash those tokens and actually give them away to people from verified purchasers of the merch or the coffee through some sort of code system, whether it be a QR code or whatever. We're going to get that figured out when the time comes. That contract, I haven't discussed this, like we haven't really officially settled on an answer yet. But I personally think that we should remove those tokens from circulation, at least for rewards and taxation. So then if people who buy the coffee or merch or whatever don't end up claiming tokens, then those are basically out of circulation forever. It's kind of like a secondary burn mechanism. And then maybe we get one day with the community and say, all right, guys, these are the ones that haven't been claimed after, 9 months or whatever, 6 months. Now we could say, all right, we're going to give these tokens away in equal amounts to all of the holders based on their percentage of ownership. Nice little profit sharing reward mechanism based on the real products and services that we're going to be offering. So there's a lot of options that we have there, but the goal is to get the project supported with an outside source of revenue like the coffee, like the merch. And then, of course, on the DeFi side, we are launching on PooChain, and we're going to continue to launch on more networks in the future. There's a lot of stuff we're going to do with that money. We're going to pay our team finally. We're going to build liquidity. We'll pay for some marketing. There's just no limit when you have a real stream of revenue. Might not be big at first, but as we grow, certainly it shall too. Does anybody have any questions? Anything else to add? Joe, you got any ideas? Got anything you want to talk about? I haven't heard from you in a while, man. Merry Christmas. Happy
I
Christmas.
could give some more insights about the Poo chain, if you like. So I was talking with our dev, who's still unavailable this week, but next week onwards he's returning. And he said that most likely next week everything will be finished. So this means if we have the liquidity together and also the tokens ready for the Poo chain to run the validator, then we are ready to go. I think also the bridge should be available next week, so it will be more or like a copy paste from that what we already have on the Polygon side. And he said he's not thinking that it takes too long before we can launch. So next week, most likely, I dare to say that we can launch the Poo chain.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's
Yeah,
sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's it from our side.
Okay, great. Yeah, so as you see, guys, we're working on the outside stream of revenue. Just so you know, the validator is something that we're going to earn another stream of revenue depending on how big the Poo chain gets. It effectively is in its infancy, guys, so it's a kind of an exciting opportunity for us. And we're working out a deal with those guys, and they gave us a validator. So we've already set that up, and like Joe said, we should have it all launched together. And if they get big, we can make some decent money off of our validator for that blockchain. What we can do is actually use, I mean, here's the streams of revenue now that we're talking about for the project. This is for marketing. This is for buybacks and burns. This is for product development. This is for Web3 development. Liquidity. I mean, all of this is all for the project, and obviously we want to pay the team. And the project itself is kind of a reward sharing, like a profit sharing mechanism. That's certainly what we're doing with the on-chain buybacks and distribution through the code system from the coffee and the merch. And then, of course, like I said, if we all come to a consensus after 6 months that those tokens are not claimed, we can maybe give those out to you guys. Which is another reward mechanism for y'all that I haven't really seen anywhere else. But yeah, so we've got the Poo chain validator, the merch and coffee, the bridge fees, and then we have our little secret weapon that we're going to launch with the Poo chain later as well. So we're working on those multiple streams of revenue to support the project for marketing and development and everything else. Very exciting. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, I saw cannabis. Yeah, that's a little tricky. While here in the States, a lot of these states are actually legalizing it medicinally and now recreationally, but yeah, it's pretty tough. I'm not really sure how to get into that one.
I don't think you can do cross state. I mean, or there might be some tricky rules on that and laws.
Oh yeah. Let alone international sales. Yeah, let's go be drug runners. But coffee, we can certainly do coffee. That is a very exciting proposition. Oh man, you guys are gonna love the store too. Like I said, Steph did a really good job on it back in the day, and we'll jump back into it. I'll get all the. Oh, nice. Poo chain. Okay, cool. Poo chain on MetaMask. That's a great question, Remmer. Right now we're doing a drop shipping setup, so we're actually not really making that much money off of it. But we can certainly explore wholesaling. Actually, yeah, send me or Chris some DMs about that, and we'll see what we can do, okay? Because yeah, that would be cool. We would love to have some distribution in other countries. We would love to get this coffee on store shelves. Because the more of it we sell, the more buybacks on chain we get. So that would be super exciting. But for sure, we're going to start with the online e-commerce store, and then we'll work in distribution later on. Chris, the coffee's good, right? I mean, it shouldn't be a problem.
It's out of this world. It's out of the stratosphere. Yeah, it's really good shit. I've been drinking it for 20 years, and I'll tell you the best way to make it is to get one of these espresso machines. You pack it in, brew up a couple of shots, and then whatever you want to put in it, from cacao to steamed milk or oat milk or whatever you want, or just drink it straight. It's good stuff.
Damn, you drinking some bougie ass coffee.
What's that?
I said you drinking some bougie ass coffee.
You can get these espresso makers for like $30, and I know like 10 years ago you could buy them for 20. Now the inflation's kind of driven the price up on these cheap ones, but still works. Still works.
Man, I'll tell you what, if I find an espresso maker for $30, I'm going to buy 3 of them and resell them for $150.
Well, you just go to Amazon. but actually, the real espresso makers are the ones that have the temperature control. So it puts out, the right temperature coffee, and that's when you start getting into being more the beginner connoisseur of coffee, I guess you per se.
Oh, right. Yeah, I got the little coffee mate with the double filter. Now, when I was in oil and gas, we had this like percolator from the mid 70s. This guy was in the Army, and he kept this thing the whole time through Desert Storm, through Nicaragua, like all of the 80s and 90s conflicts. This 60-year-old dude has got this 1972 lime green percolator with rust on the outside, but the inside has got ceramic. It is beautiful, like it's brand new. And this thing just bubbles this coffee. And by the time, like halfway through our shift, it was the strongest goddamn coffee I've ever had in my life. Like, it puts any espresso to shame. This hyper percolated black, what do you call it? What's that red can? Toll House coffee or whatever. Maxwell House. Just your cheap coffee, run-of-the-mill Maxwell House through this 1970s percolator. Really don't get any better than that. Pair that with a couple cigarettes and you got yourself a good, crude oil. That's what it was. We called it diesel fuel. But guys, we're pumped about the coffee. We're pumped about Blue Chain. We got a few tricks up our sleeve. We're going to share that with you guys once it launches. The bridge. I'm glad you guys are taking advantage of the arbitrage opportunities that present themselves. It can slow growth down. Because you got to think, if you buy low, sell high, new people come in and push the price up, opportunity is going to be there for you to take profits. But if we get to that point where so many people are coming in, arbitrage isn't really going to hinder the growth at all. But it certainly can at the beginning like this. But it's okay. We're multi-chain, and we're going to keep growing on more and more chains. So that opportunity will always be there regardless of how fast we grow. We're still going to expand, and that's just the way it works. So I'm glad you guys had a good new year. That's all I got. We'll catch you guys on the next weekly update. Maybe we have some stuff ready for you. We'll certainly let you know what's going on. I ain't got anything else. Joe, Chris, you guys good?
I'm good. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year to all of you.
Rock and roll. Well, all right, guys. We'll get this uploaded to our YouTube, and we'll have a recap for you as well later in the day. Nice to see you this week, and we'll catch you next week. If you have any questions, like always, shoot it in the main chat. You can blast me in the DMs, but watch out for scammers. They're going to pretend to be us, and watch each other's back, Jack. We'll catch you next time. Love you. Bye.